Good morning, everyone. First of all, good morning to Venerables, okay, and then all the old friends and new friends, okay. So today is a very beautiful day. Do you see that? I hope you can spend some time walking around after lunch, okay, or after the Dhamma discussion after lunch. So today I would like to continue my Dhamma sharings following the talks like 2 weeks before that I gave. Okay, it's also somehow related to the talks that given by Don Ye last week. So I remember that like 2 weeks ago, I talked about the wisdom, the ultimate truth in Buddhism, okay, that we aim to realize. That is the wisdom of emptiness, or we call it the wisdom of no self, okay, the ultimate truth. But some might think that, oh, this is just too profound, it's just too deep, it's so intricate, okay? So today, actually, I want to share with you that actually, yeah, we can start from the beginning, okay? Like the basic, how we can move from developing the basic understanding and then move on to realize the really profound. For those who are here, okay, I hope you still remember that I mentioned something like I cited a sentence from the scripture saying that, yes, the ultimate truth is our ultimate goal, but one cannot attain the ultimate truth without relying on the conventional truth. Okay, so what is conventional truth? Conventional truth actually is the knowledge and that we know, okay, the knowledge about all the phenomena, all the things that exist in the world or in the universe. Think, for example, we can say that the calendar system, okay, and the rules, and also the economics, and that many different kinds of knowledges like science, medical, and so on. All these like the conventional truth that everybody agree with, okay, and everybody have to follow so that we can maintain the harmony and peace in the world, so that everybody can live in an undisturbed way. Okay, these are all these belongs to the conventional truth. But in Buddhism, conventional truth refers to something more specific. That is to know more about our body and our mind. So when we talk about conventional truth, okay, the conventional knowledge in Buddhism is about the 5 abilities, 6 senses, what is body, eye, ear, nose, tongue, and consciousness, and how these physical bodies contact with the external world, the form, sound, smell, taste, and touch, all these creates a figure, consciousness, and reactions. So how our actions, reactions is being created one after the others and form these a series endless of social activities. Okay, so we have to know the causes, the conditions, the characteristics of each of all these in order to know who we are, to see the connections like the mind and the body. If your body is very healthy today, but you are low mood, okay, the mind is not in a very high energy, then you are sick, right? But if you are very high energy, your mind is high spirit, it's okay, you still can endure the physical pains. This is how mind and body influence each other. And it's not only about mind and bodies, it's also between individuals, okay? Families, members influence each other, and humans and environments also influence each other. So these are the interconnectedness between inner ourselves with others, with the environment. This is what Buddhism want to talk about the so-called conventional, okay? So all these connections, okay, all these interconnectedness, we say that there is nothing independent, nothing isolated from this whole network of interconnectedness, and it is because of the dependent origination.
This is the unique discovery by the Buddha. Okay, so for some people, but this is not easy to comprehend, it's not easy to understand. So we have to start from the mundane, the basic understanding, and we call that the mundane language. Okay. So today I would like to share with you 5 principles, the fundamental principles, in order to understand this connection. So the first is about law of cause and effect. Whatever we have done, it will give rise to certain results, outcomes. Okay. So every intentions will give up to a certain influence, certain impacts on others. Or we call this, we have a term called the law of karma, okay, or causality. So in this network of law of cause and effect, okay, there is nothing is created by myself, only by me. And there is nothing created by others. It's nothing created by external divine beings, okay? And so if you think that, oh, because so and so, and saying this on me, and this person impact or influence me my whole life. Actually, this is not so true because actually we have a chance to make the change. Nothing is the only dominant factors in our life. Okay. And whatever that we have been created based on our actions, intentional actions, and the result cannot be erased. Oh, okay, I will continue. Okay, don't be frightened. It cannot be erased, it cannot be destroyed. Okay, what it means is if you did something really good, okay, it's a wonderful, wholesome good deeds. So even people condemn you, criticize you, they cannot erase your wholesome deeds. The same. Nobody, you might do something evil, selfish, okay, and you thought that nobody knows, it's okay. But remember, it left an impact in our consciousness, okay? Even though nobody knows, but you already left an imprint in our consciousness. So forever, for whoever really accept and believe in this law of cause and effect, we will be very careful and mindful about our intention, our speech, and actions. It's not because we want to read someone's mind or we want to gain someone's favors, but it's simply because we want to be responsible for our own mind, speech, and actions. Okay. So, but this is actually even this law of cause and effect is not easy to be accepted. I would like to give you some example to begin with. For example, the so-called cause and effect means everything actually is the convergence of many causes and conditions. It's not just by one or two cause and conditions. For example, the fire, combustion of fire require what kind of elements? What are the 3 essential elements to create the fire? Anybody?
Oxygen.
Oxygen, yes. Heat, fuel, and heat, right? As long as one of these elements is missing, the fire extinguishes. So it is the same. When we look at many things in life, when we are boiling eggs, can you kind of down the eggs into the hot water and then you start praying, please don't cook the egg, please don't cook. This is impossible because it has its own cause and conditions and give rise to the results. Okay, the same. The Buddha also saying that if you throw a stone into the water, the stone will sink down, no matter how much you give blessing to the stone. This is because of the law of the gravity. So, for carrying the plants, for example, yes, seeds, plants come from the seed. But in order for the seed to grow into the plants, you need to continuously take care. Sun, water, nutrients, etc., etc. Same for our life. We grow from babies, okay, to become adults. There's so many conditions that support us until today. That every little conditions is counted in this process. That's why we say We are supported by countless of causes and conditions. Now, physics or scientists, engineers, okay, they all knows about the material world. But coming to the human mind, body, and environment, then Buddhism has its own very profound discovery and observation. The Buddha says that humans' intentions, okay, are the causes and will bring effects. For example, this cause and effects is not direct, it is not linear, okay? For example, you have to be behave, okay? You need to self-discipline and observe the precept. Don't kill, don't lie. And then you have to be faithful to your partner, etc. And then maintain a clear-minded. And in order to live a life with a pure conduct, and this, what is the result? The result is a life with well-being and happiness. So you can see that cause is not the same as the effect, but the effect is wholesome. So when the causes and conditions such as pure, kind, compassionate deeds, this is called, we call it merits because the fruit is favorable, is pleasant to us. So we call merits. I think everybody likes merits when we hear that, oh, we doing this, create a lot of merits. Yes, let's do it. Okay, and it will make us very happy, right? Because we want to share the happiness with others, and I also want to enjoy. Okay, so practicing develop right understanding, we also need like the so-called merits, the provision that support us in the journey. So this is the reason why law of causes and effect is so important. Okay, this is first principle. Let's move on. Okay, but there are many types of causes and conditions. There are the so-called determined and undetermined. I give one example. Whenever there is a birth, okay, there must be a death. Agree? Yeah, this is determined. But what is undetermined is you don't know when you will die. You might die at a young age. You might live up to old age and die peacefully. Okay, so how to die, where we die, these are all undetermined. And they are shared and unshared causes. For example, we all live in America. This is our shared karma. Okay, this is a shared pattern. But within this country, everybody you have your own families, your interests, and things, business to cover. Okay, even within a family. Okay, so maybe today some of your families are at home doing something else, but you are here, right? So these are the unshared aspect based on your individual intention. So they are shared and unshared. And today we all come present to here because we have a similar intention that is coming to Mama. This is why we are here, right? This is the shared intention, for example. But we also have some unshared parts here. We all have eye, ear, nose, tongues, but we all look different. So we call this is unshared. Okay. And next, this is much deeper, the so-called directed karma and fulfilling karma. What is directed karma and fulfilling karma? Means all living beings, they are born and then die, okay? But you can born as a human. You also can, well, beings also can be born as animals in the water, in the air, on the land, okay? So which beings you kind of born to, that is called, we call that directed karma. Okay, whether you are born in this country, that country, well, this is the directed karma. And fulfilling karma. Fulfilling karma means we all as a humans, but we have a different intellect abilities, different skills, different personalities, different outlooks. This is unshared. Okay, this is the so-called the fulfilling karma. So there are teachings in Buddhist teaching that really focus on talking about law of cause and effect, just to explain all kinds of karma. But today I just want to briefly touch on this just to let you know that causes, conditions, effects are very complicated. It's complicated. But just accept the principles that we are responsible to ourselves because the what we are today is the fruit of the past. what has passed is past, but we can decide the next. So this present moment is very important. And let's move on. So among all these causes and conditions, there are some good still cause and conditions will bring pleasant outcomes, happiness, and some will bring suffering. That's why those are the wholesome ones. We said those are the good or wholesome. Okay, and those are will bring pains, suffering. Those are we call it the evil, unwholesome, and they will bring pains. So these we give them the value of good and evil, wholesome and unwholesome. So if we believe in cause and effect, then we also have to believe in the good actions lead to the positive outcome. The evil actions lead to the negative consequences. As simple as that, okay? So trace back to the root. What are the roots? Let's come back to the root of the unwholesome. Greed, envy, okay, illusion. These are the unwholesome ones. So, but at the same time, we also have the wholesome potential. Okay, what are the wholesome? Those are no greed, no envy, and no delusion. Okay, this is actually a big difference. No greed doesn't mean that the greed disappear. It means the mental conditions or the mental factors that are able to counteract greed. That means when the no greed mental factors arise, then the greed or desires subdued. So with this potential mental capability, we are able to detach, we are able to cultivate letting go and eventually perfect the equanimity. Because if we do not have that attachments or desires for this and that, then we will not have the so-called priority. I love this the most. This is okay for me. I do not like this. All these are preferences and priorities in life. Okay. And second, enmity. Okay, enmity create a lot of harm. Okay, you can see a lot of damage in the society because of the enmity in the mind. So no enmity means is a mental ability that counteract enmity. So with no enmity, then the anger, hatred subdues. It's easy for us to cultivate loving kindness and compassion. So with this no enmity mental state, it's easy for us to eventually develop the great compassion and delusion. Okay, no delusion is the counteracting the delusion. That means developing wisdom. How to develop wisdom? Through listening, contemplating, and realizing in the daily life. Okay, so wholesome, unwholesome is another big topic in Buddhism. And before that, I want to talk a bit about this good and evil. Okay, so you see that if our intention, now here, pay attention to our intention. If our intention is wholesome, okay, whatever we say out or actions out of this intention, definitely it will impact on people around us. And for those who are impacted or influenced by us, in turn, they'll bring this resulting impact back to society, back to the workplace, okay, and might have even influenced the nation, the country. You might have read some news. One person commit to a crime and it shocked the whole world. Have you read this type of news? Yeah, very often, okay. And when they trace back, oh, because of the childhood, because of the parenting problem, because of that individual problems, individual hatred inside, it creates something shock the nation, shock the world. So this is one example how individuals' mentality will influence the society, influence the nations. The same, if we have an intention with great compassion, and eventually, okay, we don't give up, it will have this effect that bring the positive influence to the nations and to others. This is how the mind factors or the mind powers have such an external influence on others. But what we want to focus here, when we come to practice, the outward influence is not the most important. Well, it is important, but what is even more important is that people might always overlook. That is the impact on ourselves. When we are angry, yeah, people get hurt because they do not like to hear us shouting to them. They might also upset. But what is really have the great profound influence is on the person who get angry. And you see that what they say, what they do, out of that anger, left and the impact or potential in the mind that cannot be erased. It leave an influence in them. That's why in Buddhism we say that there are lots being stored in our consciousness. When we meet the certain conditions again, we react again. Then we build up this habit again. That's why we come to practice is why we meditate is actually to see the insights, defilements, purify the inner mind, so that when we react to outside in our actions and behaviors will be pure. That's why there are certain topics, consciousness or psychology is also another big topic in Buddhism because this is the root problems that we want to deal with. Okay, so seeing that what we have done will leave an impact, or we say imprint in the mind. This can explain how everybody's are different. Okay, I want to skip this and come back to the third principle. There is a continuity from the past to present and into the future. Okay, so the outcomes, the results, okay, they might ripple across different times and contexts. So what we have done each life, we might immediately experience it. The results, okay? We have someone and people immediately say thank you. So you feel the happiness, that is the immediate result that you receive. So this is manifest in the present time. But there is something that we have done, but the results do not nurture in this present life. It can be in the next life, okay? But who knows? Yeah. So the Buddhas, okay, and the great masters, through their deep contemplation and observation, they see that, yeah, so don't give up because what you have sown, okay, they must have the results. The results might rise. Not this lifetime, you cannot see it, but you continue next lifetime. This is give us the hope, say that if there is no reason we give up. So here there is an examples, okay? Please explain why different peoples or different babies they grow, they come and born with different special qualities and traits. This is like how the past influence the present. We don't have to like trace back to the past life. Even in this present life, when we say past, what is past? Past is yesterday, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, our childhood, those are the past. Present is this present moment. Future is tomorrow, the next moment, okay, or the next year, and so on for the next life. So based on our practice here and our interactions with people here, you can see that how our childhood has a great impact on us. This is how our past influence on us a lot, right? I often hear stories saying that especially those have experienced domestic abuse, how the parents really influence and leave a very negative impact in their life, and they have to struggle whole life just to overcome those. Okay, this is one example, and including myself too. I think before I learned Buddhism, okay, I might have a lot to blame. Blame my parents, blame this and that because of this and that. But when we truly come and know these teachings, then we will just accept whatever that come to us because everything that happened to us, it must have related to our past deeds, our past actions, past intentions. But what has been done is done, okay? What we can do is we repent, reflect, and from this moment on, we try and avoid to react with those selfishness, anger, ignorance. We try to react with patience and wisdom, compassion, kindness, etc. Okay, this is the third. So this is how the Buddha also said that all this, okay, no worries. You don't see that everything is fixed. They are not fixed. It really depends on how. Yeah, they cannot be erased, but they can be changed. That's why there is the beauty of impermanence because things can be changed. For example, you have done something that is really painful. Okay, that is not good. It's selfish or it's harming. It's like you have a salt in a little cup. It's salty, you cannot drink. Okay, it's bitter too much. But what we can do is to add a lot of water in it to dilute that taste, right? So adding water means you do a lot of good deeds. All these merits will help to dilute the pains, the sufferings. So here in this sutra, if you are interested, you can read. It says that this explains why it seems like two people doing the same bad deed but experience different results because they also have other karmas that influence the results. Okay, that's why this cause and effects is not as simple as linear as we thought. And there is no reason to say, oh, it is not fair. Why this person is punished for 1 year and that person is punished for just 1 month? Because different conditions behind them that we cannot see. Okay. Now the fourth principle that I would like to share with you is how we can transform from ordinary people to the noble ones and finally to become the perfectly enlightened one, just like the Buddha. This is possible as long as we follow the path that pointed out by the Buddha, fulfill all these causes and conditions. Okay, subdues and eliminates all these unwholesome, cultivates the wholesome, then we can realize the perfect enlightenment, just like the Buddha. This is how we connect the conventional wisdom, the truth, with the ultimate truth. Okay, this is what I have shared with those who were here 2 weeks ago. This is possible because just like the Buddha said, we learn and continue to practice, not giving up. Because of course with all these self-attachment, self-will. But if we from the very mundane way, if we continue to practice and eventually we break this down, then no more self-attachment, no more self-limit, then we can truly continue to cultivate more virtues and finally just perfect, just like the Buddha, as perfect as the Buddha. This is possible, okay? So if we understand this principle, then there is no reason for us to be big low esteem, thinking that oh I cannot do it, or I'm too busy, or I'm just too old, okay, or I'm just too young and other things. There's no excuse for all this because whatever we think, say, and react, all this is part of our practice in daily life. And all this will leave an impact in our mind and continue in our practice. So, before I end, I would like to share and summarize this with you. This is how ordinary human beings, like every one of us, can be purified and transformed, just like the Buddha, who has a great wisdom, great compassion, and a great mind power. We call that the will power. And this is how we can finally, through our practice, and understand the true meanings of the wisdom of emptiness. So emptiness, as what it says here, emptiness is not a conceptual thinking, okay, with a distorted connection. We have to first cultivate generosity, precepts, develop the meditative concentration, etc., so that the mind becomes quiet and defilements are weakened, and only then we can realize the true emptiness. So emptiness is something that we aim with, but in this whole process, there are many virtues that we need to cultivate first in order to realize it's not a concept for us to keep in the mind on. And I would like to share this with you, okay? This is one of the world most written almanac for the art of war. Because in the history of humans, we never like end of war. We always have wars in the human history. So there, this wise, as a wise master, he said that the supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting. The next best is to defeat them through strategy. The next, engage the alliance. And the least desirable is to attack aggressively. So you can see that even the wise master like this saying that the most supreme is to subdue the enemy without fighting. And after learning the Dharma, I would like to say that the most supreme way to subdue the enemy is to subdue the enmity in our heart first. Okay. So I hope this is something meaningful with you and share with you today. And because today is Father's Day, okay, and this image actually sent by my brother. He also is a father, and he said that this, I think a father doesn't tell you that he loves you, he shows to you. So father's love is slightly different from mother's love, okay? But I think they have the same intention that they want us to be happy, healthy, living in a peace and harmony environment. So I wish that all the fathers for each family, you might be also like the elders, just like the fathers in your workplace, in the society. And I also wish that the fathers of our nations will think for the well-being of all the peoples, okay, with kindness and compassion. So with that, I would like to end my sharing today, and I would let us make a simple merit dedication to share our merits of listening the Dharma, practicing the Dharma, okay, with everyone that around us and with all of those in our families, society, and nation. May all beings be free from anger and hatred. May all beings be free from greed and selfishness. May all beings be free from fears and anxieties. May all beings be free from all pain and sufferings. And may all beings be free from ignorance and delusions. And may all beings be happy and well-being. And thank you very much for your attention. Okay.